Hello dear Libra soul. What if I told you that the goodbye you didn't expect, the one that's been echoing silently in your heart, has just unlocked a gate to divine wealth and sacred union? If you've been sensing a shift without knowing where it's taking you, you've arrived at the perfect place, and you're right on time. This is not just a horoscope reading. This is a soul transmission for you, Libra, crafted specifically for the energy unfolding after December 18th. And if you're listening right now, please know this: the universe is orchestrating something beyond your expectations. There's no mistake that you found this video today. You were meant to. I'm so honored to welcome you to Zodiac Whisper Tarot Sanctuary, where energy speaks louder than logic, where divine timing replaces deadlines, and where your spirit is always ahead of your circumstances. This sacred space was created for moments like this, when something big is shifting and your higher self is ready to receive. So let's begin this message with clarity and intention. A major financial flow is heading straight toward you, yes, you, Libra. But it won't arrive the way you imagined. It begins with something or someone leaving. That unexpected farewell? It was a release. Not a punishment. Not abandonment. But alignment. Sometimes the most sacred miracles are disguised as endings. Think about this. What if the person who left didn't abandon you, but simply made space for someone far more aligned with your soul's next level? What if that "no" you received last week was really heaven's redirection toward a more abundant "yes"? What if all this time, God was preparing something so holy, so beautifully timed, that your human mind couldn't even script it? As a spiritual guide, I also walk the path of faith. And I've seen time and again how God's greatest interventions come softly through a closed door, a lost job, or an unspoken goodbye. And then, just like that, the blessings rush in. The inheritance is released. The contract arrives. The partner appears. The wedding unfolds. The truth is revealed. But here's the key, Libra: you must be open to receive it. Not with fear. Not with guilt. But with trust. Because you are worthy of what's coming. You always were. Before we continue, let me take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every like, every comment, every moment you've subscribed or shared this message. It brings you deeper into the soul family we're building here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your presence fuels this mission and allows us to keep delivering these life-shifting messages to those who need it. And Libra, trust me, you're going to want to stay with me until the very end of this message. What the universe is preparing to reveal is nothing short of breathtaking. So tell me, my loyal Libra soul, what happened in your world that brought you here today? Was it a breakup? A quiet disappointment? Or simply a deep knowing that something is changing? Share with me in the comments. If you don't yet have the words, just type the sacred number 777 to affirm your alignment with this message. That number activates divine protection and completion, and it will anchor your energy into the abundance and love that's already circling your field. Now, let's take a breath together and step into the first chapter of what could be the most miraculous turning point of your year. There are moments in life when the energies shift so subtly, so precisely, that you don't realize you've crossed into a new chapter until the abundance arrives and your breath catches in awe. And Libra, this is one of those moments for you. The Nine of Pentacles doesn't just appear casually, it arrives when the universe is whispering, "You've done enough. Now, let me show you what your faith has been cultivating behind the scenes." This isn't about sudden wealth thrown into your lap without foundation. It's about the quiet, almost imperceptible harvest of everything you've worked for energetically, emotionally, and spiritually. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of grace and earned luxury. And in your current cycle, it speaks to a sacred truth. You have already planted the seeds, and now those seeds are bearing fruit in forms that may surprise you. We often expect financial blessings to look a certain way: clear, earned, visible to the world. But sometimes, the universe sends provision in ways that are wrapped in softness and divine timing. Perhaps it's that long overdue payment that finally reaches your account at the exact moment you need it most. Perhaps it's a gift from a family member who never truly understood your path, but now chooses to support you without strings attached. Or perhaps it's a message from a past partner not to rekindle romance, but to return what was once owed as a quiet act of closure and respect. These are not just transactions. They are deeply symbolic gestures from the universe reminding you, you are seen, Libra. You are not forgotten. And you are not meant to carry the weight of survival alone. Now, for someone like you whose soul craves balance and independence, this type of financial blessing can stir conflicting emotions. You may hesitate to receive. You may worry it will make you appear weak or dependent. But let me offer this: receiving with openness is not weakness. It is strength. It is trust. And more importantly, it is alignment. You were never meant to earn your worth through struggle. Your value is not tied to how hard you hustle or how quietly you endure. Your worth is inherent, and the more you embody that truth, the more the material world will rise to meet it. The astrological transits at play right now, especially the recent full moon activating your second house of values and possessions, are asking you to look at your relationship with money not as a tool of pressure, but as a reflection of self-love. Venus in trine with Pluto and Jupiter now moving direct bring a surge of supportive energy, unlocking hidden resources and long-delayed blessings. But these gifts won't reach you if your hands are still clenched in doubt. This is the time to open. To soften. To trust the timing, even if you don't understand the method. In your day-to-day life, this might mean learning to say, "Thank you," without apology. Accepting a refund, a discount, or an unexpected gift without brushing it off. Maybe it looks like quietly adding your name to the list for that grant, or submitting your work for publication, or finally allowing your creative offering to be priced according to its worth. And just as Jesus once reminded his followers that even the lilies of the field are clothed in splendor without effort, you too are designed to receive beauty and provision without exhausting your spirit. You are part of a greater flow, and the more you allow yourself to receive with grace, the more you anchor into that flow. So as we move forward into this reading, carry this reminder with you like a prayer whispered into the wind: you are ready. You are worthy. And it is safe to receive. Sometimes the most profound beginnings wear the disguise of a quiet ending. When the Six of Swords appears in your reading, Libra, it doesn't always arrive with grief or drama. It slips in like a gentle wave, asking you to set something down that has already served its purpose. Maybe it's a relationship that no longer reflects who you're becoming. Maybe it's an identity you've outgrown. Or perhaps it's a dream you held onto tightly because it once gave you comfort, but now no longer fits the shape of your soul. This kind of departure doesn't always come with closure. There may be no final words, no neat goodbye, just a feeling in inner knowing that something has shifted and cannot be undone. That feeling, Libra, is your spirit expanding beyond the container it's been confined to. And even if your logical mind doesn't fully understand why now, your heart does. You're not being asked to discard the past with resentment, but to honor it with reverence and then gently let it go. As an astrologer who's walked many through this transition, I can tell you this: the Six of Swords shows up not as a punishment, but as a recalibration. Especially now, with the current cosmic alignments calling on your 7th house home of relationships, soul contracts, and long-term commitments, this energy is deeply relational. But the focus isn't just on who or what is leaving. It's about what that empty space is now making room for. In moments like these, I often reflect on how in the chaos of change, our human nature clings to the familiar even when it hurts. But growth doesn't arrive in tidy packages. It begins in the unspoken. It stirs in the endings we don't want but secretly need. It blooms in the empty space after goodbye. You may be asking yourself, why now? Or, was this the right decision? And if you didn't make the choice yourself, if someone else left, or if the door was closed on you, I want you to know, that does not mean you failed. It means the energy has shifted, and your soul is no longer aligned with what once was. There is a timing for everything, and sometimes the blessing is not in the staying but in the releasing. Even in scripture, we're reminded that every season has its time. In the busiest seasons of life, many people forget to recognize that God often moves quietly. Not everything he does is loud or showy. Sometimes his greatest work is in what we don't get to keep. Because he sees the full road ahead and he knows what must be removed so we can arrive safely where we are meant to be. So if your heart is feeling the ache of transition, I invite you to see this not as a loss, but as a preparation. This is not abandonment. This is protection. This is the soul's way of creating space for alignment, truth, and future joy. Let this moment stretch you, not shatter you. And if the tears come, let them. If silence follows, honor it. Because grief is not the enemy, grief is evidence of love, of attachment, of humanity. But on the other side of grief lives peace. The kind of peace that doesn't need explanation. The kind that wraps around your body like warmth after winter. As you continue through this message today, I encourage you to check in with yourself. What is it that you know, deep down, must now be released? What part of you is ready to exhale the past so that the future can fully arrive? You don't have to have all the answers right now. But if something in you resonates, write it in the comments. You can even keep it simple. Just type, I release. That small act is powerful. It tells your heart, your mind, and the universe that you are ready to let go, not to give up, but to grow up into the life that is now calling you forward. What's interesting about this chapter of your journey, Libra, is that once the release has taken place, once something or someone has left your life to make room, there's often a stillness that follows. It may feel like an emotional pause, like standing in the silence between two songs. But that stillness is not empty. It is sacred preparation. It's the energetic space that allows something deeply aligned to enter without confusion or interference. And what's arriving for you now is not just another person or encounter. It's something much deeper. When the Temperance card appears alongside a full moon illuminating your 7th house, the sector of partnerships, long-term bonds, and soul contracts, it signals that the relationship energy coming into your field is balanced, divine, and intentional. This isn't about filling a void or distracting from loneliness. It's about resonance. You're attracting a connection that mirrors the healing and evolution you've done within yourself. You're no longer calling in relationships from a place of lack, but from a place of quiet fullness, one where you know your worth, not because someone tells you, but because you've remembered it on your own. That's why this person, whether someone returning in a new form or someone entirely new, won't feel like a stranger. They'll feel like a recognition. You might not even be able to explain it at first. It might be the way they look at you and see all of you, without trying to fix or label you. It might be the ease with which your energies settle together, like a familiar chord being played again after a long time. They may not say much at first, but your spirit will recognize the frequency they carry. In astrology, the 7th house is not just about romance, it governs every mirror we look into through another person. And when that house is activated during a powerful lunar phase, like it is now, those mirrors become sharper, clearer, more sacred. If someone enters your life in this window, pay attention not only to who they are but to who you become when you're around them. Do you feel more like yourself? Do you feel safe being seen, even in your vulnerability? Do your hopes feel more possible just by sharing space with them? These are the signs of soul resonance. And when that energy arrives, it's often quiet, not explosive. It builds slowly. It grows with trust. It moves in harmony with your nervous system. This is not the connection that makes you lose your grounding, but the one that helps you find it again. I've seen this happen in the lives of many people I've guided, often after a long period of inner work, quiet nights, unanswered prayers. And then, in a moment that seems ordinary, the extraordinary appears. It might be a conversation with someone you almost didn't meet. It might be a chance encounter that turns into something real. It might even be a reconnection with someone from your past, except this time, both of you have changed. Healed. Softened. Opened. The truth is, love that is meant for your healed self doesn't rush in to save you, it rises beside you to meet you. It reflects your new standards, your renewed peace, your deeper clarity. And if you're still learning how to fully trust that such a connection is real, that's okay. You're not late. You're not broken. You're simply aligning. Just like the stars do. This week, if your heart starts to stir in unexpected ways, don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. Let it move you. Let it open you. And if you're not quite sure what to do with it yet, that's all right too. Just breathe and allow. Love that honors who you've become doesn't demand answers right away, it offers space. It offers presence. And above all, it offers truth without pressure. You've already come so far, Libra, not only emotionally and spiritually, but now, as the universe invites you into this new chapter of financial expansion and soul-aligned relationships, it also calls you to care deeply for the body that carries you through it all. Your spirit may be ready, but how is your nervous system? How is your breath, your sleep, your ability to ground and receive what's next? Because while cosmic timing aligns above you, your physical vessel is the landing space for miracles. And right now, it needs tenderness, not tension. In this period, you might notice subtle signals from your body: tightness in the neck or shoulders, lower back discomfort, or a sense of heaviness around the kidneys. These are not random. From an energetic perspective, the neck holds the weight of unspoken truths. The lower back is where we store financial fear and insecurity. And the kidneys? They filter not just toxins, but stress, especially when you've been holding on too tightly to what needs to flow. One of the kindest things you can do for yourself right now is hydrate deeply. Drink water like it's medicine. Add magnesium-rich foods or gentle supplements if needed, and consider incorporating omega-3s to soothe inflammation, both physical and emotional. Movement is a sacred act of realignment. This isn't about pushing your body to achieve anything external, it's about nurturing your energy to flow more freely. Gentle yoga focused on spinal release can help reset your internal compass. Even just 20 minutes of mindful walking each day can move stagnant emotions, reduce cortisol, and reconnect you to the rhythm of the earth beneath you. Remember, healing is not always loud. Sometimes it's simply choosing to stretch, to step outside, to listen. Your relationship with food also carries energy. As Libra, you are attuned to beauty, balance, and harmony, so feed yourself in a way that honors those values. Choose vibrant, living foods, greens that carry sunlight, berries that are rich in antioxidants, whole grains that sustain you with grounded energy. Reduce refined sugar not as punishment, but as a way to listen more clearly to your natural rhythms. Let food be a quiet act of devotion to your evolving self. Financially, this is a time to redefine what security feels like, not just in your bank account, but in your body. Are you spending to escape discomfort, or to create alignment? Are you avoiding abundance out of guilt or fear? Right now, you're being asked to spend and save from a place of clarity, not compensation. New opportunities may arrive that challenge your old beliefs around money or success. If you catch yourself thinking, "This isn't for me," pause. It might be exactly what is. Let your soul, not your past, decide what you're worthy of now. And don't underestimate the healing power of color and vibration. Surround yourself with tones that activate the frequencies you want to amplify. Deep blues and purples support wisdom and intuitive focus. Soft pink and fresh greens open the heart, inviting in tenderness and compassion. Bright orange ignites joy, creativity, and playful magnetism, especially helpful for love and new partnerships forming during this cycle. Sometimes, the most sacred shift doesn't come from a planetary transit, it comes from finally deciding to show up for yourself consistently. From resting without guilt. From saying no without explaining. From trusting your body's wisdom as much as your star chart. Libra, the alignment is already in motion. Let your daily habits reflect that readiness. A small breath today. A kind meal tomorrow. A gentle walk the next morning. Each act becomes an offering, a message to the universe. I am preparing my life to receive what I prayed for. And in that preparation, miracles make their way home to you. What's unfolding now is not about striving harder, fixing yourself, or proving anything to anyone. It's about remembering that who you are right here, right now, is already enough. From this point forward, Libra, you're not walking into a future that demands your perfection. You're stepping into a reality that mirrors back your alignment. You're not being tested. You're being revealed. The work you've done emotionally, spiritually, energetically has not gone unnoticed. The universe doesn't measure your worth by how much you've struggled, or how long you've waited. It sees the quiet courage you've carried, the grace in your silence, the prayers whispered when no one else was watching. As the final cosmic shifts of the year realign your chart from December 18th onward, you're not just moving from one chapter to another, being invited into a completely different timeline. This is the movement from delay into divine delivery, from loss into legacy, from wandering into sacred direction. But the bridge into that life isn't something you build with force. It's something you accept with trust. It may have taken you years to reach this moment. Maybe you spent months doubting whether anything would ever change. You may have questioned your worth, pushed yourself to exhaustion, or fallen into patterns of waiting for external validation. But the beauty of divine timing is that it doesn't require your suffering to be prolonged to prove your growth. It only asks one thing: readiness. And Libra, you are ready now, not because you've achieved some perfect version of yourself, but because you're no longer pretending to be anyone you're not. I've seen again and again in astrology how true breakthroughs come when we stop chasing and start receiving. You're not meant to hustle your way into wholeness. You're meant to realize you've never been anything less. The blessings ahead, financial, emotional, relational, are not prizes to earn. They are reflections of your vibrational agreement with your own worth. When you start showing up as someone who is enough, life begins to organize itself around that belief. So if the new opportunities that appear after this shift feel unfamiliar or even overwhelming, pause. Ask yourself not if you deserve them, but if you're willing to receive them. The discomfort may not be a warning sign, it might just be the stretching of your container to hold more than you've ever held before. Freedom feels strange when you've been carrying the weight of unworthiness for too long. Love feels suspicious when you're used to earning approval instead of simply being met with presence. But just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's new. As you move through this next season, remind yourself of something simple but sacred: you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to stay in alignment. Make small choices each day that reinforce the truth: you are enough. Choose the conversation that honors your boundaries. Spend the money in a way that reflects self-respect, not self-sabotage. Let rest be productive. Let clarity be your guide. There's a kind of grace that enters your life when you stop trying to become and simply start being. And that's where the miracles rush in. I've seen it happen in real people, single mothers who stopped apologizing and suddenly received a job offer they didn't apply for. In artists who quietly kept creating, and one day found their work shared by someone who changed their life. In people who didn't push, didn't beg, didn't break, just stayed present, and in doing so, allowed life to meet them with open hands. So, Libra, from this moment on, your story is no longer about waiting. It's about welcoming. Not from scarcity, but from fullness. Not from force, but from flow. Because you are already enough, and now, life is ready to reflect that truth back to you in ways more beautiful than you ever imagined. Libra, as we come to the close of this sacred message, I want you to pause with me for just one moment and take a slow, conscious breath. Inhale, deeply and fully. And exhale, with gentle release. Let yourself feel the shift that's already beginning to unfold. Not because you forced it. Not because you had all the answers. But because, in this moment, you allowed yourself to simply be present. That's where true transformation begins, not in the noise, not in the pressure, but in the stillness where you remember that you are the key. You are the one who chooses which doors to walk through next. Everything you've heard today about receiving financial freedom without guilt, about releasing old stories without shame, about allowing love in its most sacred form. It all returns to one truth. Nothing changes outside until something shifts inside. And that shift starts with a decision. Not a dramatic one. A quiet, powerful one. A moment of choosing yourself, not as a reaction to pain, but as an act of alignment with the life you now desire. So let me ask you, what are you ready to let go of today, Libra? What belief, behavior, or burden no longer belongs in your energy field? And just as importantly, what are you now willing to receive with open hands and a soft heart? What miracle have you been resisting, simply because you didn't feel ready or deserving? You don't have to figure it all out today. You don't have to be perfect. But you do have to be willing. Willing to try. Willing to soften. Willing to believe, even just a little, that you're not behind, that everything is unfolding on time, in divine order, for your highest good. Write it in the comments. Speak it into reality. Let it be witnessed. If you're not sure what to say, here are a few powerful affirmations to get you started. I am ready to receive divine wealth and soul-aligned love. I release what no longer serves my path. I choose peace. I choose truth. I choose to say yes to myself. And don't just write them, feel them. Let the words land in your chest, let them echo in your breath. Let them guide you into the version of your life that's already waiting for your yes. Before you go, I want to thank you truly for showing up here. For giving yourself the gift of presence, of curiosity, of inner work. For every like, every comment, every time you subscribe or share these messages, you are not only supporting Zodiac Whisper Tarot, you're anchoring yourself more deeply into the soul family that we are building together. You are helping create a space where truth is honored, where healing is sacred, and where becoming is always welcomed no matter what stage you're in. So stay connected, stay open, and above all stay true to you. Because Libra, you don't need to be more than you are. You simply need to become who you've always been beneath the noise. That is enough. That has always been enough. And I promise you, the miracles coming into your life next are not here to test you, they are here to reflect the readiness you've already claimed. Thank you for walking this path with me. If this message spoke to your heart, don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss what the universe has prepared for you. I'll be here, waiting to guide you through the next door whenever you're ready to open it.